Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Alex, and I'm here to give y'all a review of 4Geeks Academy and just talk a little bit about my view on coding bootcamps in general. And yeah, so some background about me. I was a teacher for about 4 years and taught during the pandemic. And inspired me to get into the tech industry. We use all these platforms to teach, to make interactive lessons and track student data, and we could control students' laptops, like lock them or see if they're signed in, what tabs they have open, and a bunch of things. And I was like, wow, this is so interesting. So I talked to a few friends in the industry and did a bunch of Google searching, and discovered the whole wave of coding boot camps and all of that. Decided to pursue it, and so I enrolled in 4Geeks Academy for software development, full stack, and it was 4 months, I believe, and I graduated in May 2022. And right now it is March 2024, and I got my first role. So it took a while. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And yeah, so that's kind of the experience I have. And so I wanted to, give some advice to other people who are just learning about the role, or wanting to get information about, the possibility of pursuing software development with no experience, or people who are in the middle, or trying to find jobs now or something. So yeah, so would I recommend 4Geeks? Short answer is yes. I would recommend 4Geeks, and I would just caution to not fall into this idea that 4Geeks in itself, or any bootcamp for that matter, will be the answer to all your prayers to get a job. And but yeah, I would definitely recommend it. So I'm going to talk about the things I like about 4Geeks, the things I didn't like about 4Geeks, and yeah, and we'll go from there. So I guess I want to touch on, before getting to specific about 4Geeks, talking about coding bootcamps as a whole, speaking to not thinking that there will be the answer to all your prayers, in terms of getting a job. I think that, coding bootcamps, the true value of a coding bootcamp is it gives you structure, a curriculum to follow. More often than not, gives you professionals or just people with more experience than you to help you out. You can ask direct questions, get personalized feedback, and all of that. That's the real value. There's networking. They might give you access to some resources, help you navigate things, finding hackathons and things like that. So there's the value, but like the certificate in itself that they often give you has no real value. It's almost debatable, should you even put that in your resume? Is this taking up space and no one cares? I don't know what, like, people who are more experienced in as recruiters, or whatever, but to me, I'm almost considering taking it out of my resume, because it really doesn't do anything. So like I said, I've been looking for a job for 2 years, and I've gotten interviews and experience and here and there, and I've never been asked for the certificate. No one has asked me, what did they teach you in 4Geeks? You know, it's more about, capturing the attention of people with your LinkedIn and your resume and things like that, using enough of those words, TypeScript and JavaScript and all of that. And then once you convince them that you're an interesting person, then you try to show proof that all these words you put in your resume, you actually can back up with a portfolio, and stuff like that, or doing some assessment with them or something like that. And and yeah, and then you can get into like who you are as a person and your background, and that's a gross, like, you know, glossing over the top of that, but essentially my point is the certificate in itself isn't all that important, you know. So yeah, so taking that into consideration, 4 Geeks. So let's get into the pros. So for sure, the cost. That's what caught my eye. The cost is like when I joined, it was like $9,000. Now they seem like they're really driving the income share agreement. You don't need to pay anything until you get a job. So that's enticing. Other coding boot camps I saw were like 30,000, a little more, a little less. So 9,000 was definitely different from like other boot camps I was looking at. Yeah, and so let's see. Cost is good. Mentoring is a very next thing I would mention. Anytime you can get one-on-one help is always a good thing, and it never expires. So that's pretty sweet. Even after graduating, I would often book sessions for interviews or personal projects or just random questions, whatever you need. They're there to help. So, and it's usually students who graduated already. And even when I got more advanced, there was like 2 or 3 people that could help me. Usually there's like 6 to 8 mentors, give or take. It totally depends, but like a lot of time there would be like 6 to 8 mentors or so several, and out of those like maybe 2 to 3 or so could like had significant experience that they could help me out. Yeah, so that's a really great thing. They have a public forum. It's like a Stack Overflow, more or less. So you can get a lot of help there. People are very active. They respond to people's messages, asking questions when you show a screenshot of your code and all that. So that's always been a great resource. And let's see, what else is good? I mean, they got me my first hackathon. They like privately messaged me with that opportunity, and I got it, and it was a great experience, and got great networking with that, and everything. Yeah, the staff is pretty responsive. They like to help you out with things and all that. Good people, and nothing else sticks out to me that I would put in the pro column. I'll leave it like that for now. Maybe circle back. Some of the cons, I would say like the curriculum is, I would call it like, let's say a 10. I'm biased. I'm a teacher, so I'm like, picky about it, but the curriculum I would say is like a 7 out of 10. 6.57, something like that. There's a lot of it's great. And there are some assignments though that you can finish the assignment not learning all that much. It's just like you see one little pattern and you can just finish the whole assignment like that and not taking away a good concept. Some of the directions aren't very clear, and not in a helpful way. Like sometimes it's good for you not to get all the answers handed out to you, forces you to learn and explore. That's one thing, but there's some assignments that just like it's not helpful. The ambiguity, it's not. So but curriculum's not that bad. Could be better, but no one's perfect. It does its job. It's cool. The tech stack is pretty good, I would say. Um, and let's see. Oh, teaching. I would say teaching is a con. Like, it's a hit or miss, which it's like the teacher I had when I was in my first cohort wasn't that great. Great, cool guy, nice personality, knowledgeable, but just not a great teacher. Like teaching, And again, maybe I'm biased because I was a teacher, but from my standpoint, he wasn't that good at teaching. He would ramble. He just wouldn't know how to teach. But then I was a TA. They hired me as a TA and teaching assistant, and that teacher, who was a lead teacher, was very good. I really liked his teaching style. So it's a hit or miss. I think it would be nice. You can only do so much, as a institution. Like schools have terrible teachers and have great teachers as well. You can't. There's only so much you can do, but I think it would be nice if they had something in place to at least make it more likely to have better teachers. Some kind of training, some kind of like, I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Maybe they are. I don't get the impression that they are, though. There should be some kind of guideline about. I mean, I talked to the teacher who I was doing the teaching assistant with, and I would complain to him about other teachers from 4Geeks, and he said for the interview, they asked him, "Oh, how would you say this in an easy to understand way?" Well, like one little, like a for loop thing or whatever, and he just answered it, and that was it. At least in regards to I mean, he probably had an impressive resume. He was an experienced guy. And maybe he had references as well. So I'm not saying it's like he got in so easily, but like specifically to teaching, there was very little done to monitor it, to filter it, to there should be something done, some kind of material they had to look through, or I don't know, something. There's a bunch of things you could do. I'm a teacher, I know, right? There's all this coaching you get and all of that. So I don't know. I think they can improve on that front. I'm going back and forth, but another pro is that you can get hired as a teaching assistant, like I mentioned, and also a mentor. And there's also like global mentoring where, so when you get hired as a mentor, it's a one-on-one. You can put your availability with Calendly, and students will like book you, and it's $15 an hour, and that's cool because it like you get a little something that's related to programming, like indirectly, but it's good enough when you have nothing, right? And it helps you learn because if you have to teach it, it forces you, because a student will ask you something that you never thought about. Maybe you finished the assignment, but you didn't know this part of the code or something, and it forces you to figure it out. So it's a good experience. You get a little money, help people out, and it helps you for sure. Same thing with teaching assistant. That's a good first thing to do. If you show that you're like a pretty good student, they'll have you be a teaching assistant, and you get to listen to the whole course again, except this time you're getting paid to, in a way, right? And it's not that serious. You don't have to, not too much is put on your shoulders. So yeah, and they hired me, they put me on the team to do internship, because everything they have on their website is made from scratch. So the website where you as a student go to find your assignments, the place that teachers grade the assignments, the place where they log all their investors, everything is from scratch. So there's a lot of stuff, and they're always updating it. So there's a lot of internship opportunity. And if you start for free, and then if you do well, you can get paid for it. They give you like an assignment. They'll give you like like 10 assignments, right? And each one they say, oh, we have a budget to pay you for 5 hours for this assignment. We think it should take you 5 hours. And if you go over, like sometimes they'll make an adjustment. For the most part, though, you can't go, like if you go over, that's kind of on you, and it's just like they just pay you for that. But it's fine though, because it's like you're getting money for a paid internship. That's experience. You're learning and you're getting some money. Like, it's a little annoying, but you know, that's how they need a budget. They got a bunch of stuff to pay for. I didn't mind that too much. It was a little annoying, but it's like I get it. So that's cool. You know, they hire you as an internship thing. Yeah. I would say the career services could improve. Great, lovely people in there that want to help you out, and they have helped me. But I think it could be better. Like, I don't know. It's like, okay, let's say your LinkedIn and your resume and all those things could be at different levels. Let's say, below average, you know, average, and above average, I guess. I feel like they can get you to an average level, right? Which is better than nothing. It's a good starting point. But the tech industry is very competitive, you know, and coming from a bootcamp background with no prior experience, you need to be above average. You know, you can't just, you really need to stick out. So, like, and the reason why I'm saying all these things is because I did everything with 4Geeks, the LinkedIn and the resume, and a few advisors from 4Geeks would say, the career advisors, oh yeah, the resume is really good, you know, looks great, LinkedIn looks great. And then I'm gonna leave his link in this video. David Roberts is the truth. Listen, all of y'all, once you get a job, once you finish coding bootcamp, everyone should go to David Roberts. He is a senior developer, a tech recruiter, and he's basically, it seems like he's dedicating all his time to helping like aspiring developers get their first job and stick out, and even people who have experience who want to move up on the chains and stuff like that. But yeah, everyone should go there. You can get free advice from him, follow his LinkedIn page, and then you can pay also $99. I think it's a one-time fee. And you can do like one-on-one videos with him. He'll give you a personalized feedback for your LinkedIn. I think you can do that for free, but if you pay, it's quicker. But look at his website to check all that out. He has a bunch of free videos, free content on his Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok and all those things. He's a great guy. He helps me out a lot. So anyways, this guy, David, so I already went through the 4Geeks process for the career advice and updating my LinkedIn. Then David Roberts comes in and looks at it, and he's like, oh, you got to change this and this and this and this and this and this and this. So he's very honest and very helpful with best intentions. And I made all those adjustments, and I feel like now I definitely feel like my LinkedIn is above average and my resume as well. And it's thanks to him, pretty much. So I looked back at 4Geeks. I was like, y'all kind of, you know, I don't think they're incompetent or ill-intentioned people at 4Geeks in a career. I think they just don't have the same experience as people like David, you know. And so I think that's what happened there. So, you know, I don't know how other coding bootcamps compare with their career stuff, but it's not quite enough what 4Geeks offers. But yeah, also the tech interview. I did a tech mock interview at 4Geeks with the CEO, Alejandro. Brilliant guy, very charismatic dude, and he's just a brilliant mind. Um, but he gave me a mock interview, a technical mock interview, and it went good. It was cool. And I was able to do fine. And then after that, I applied to this job, and they say, "Hey, we like your resume. Do this test. We're gonna test you in JavaScript." I did that. I almost jumped out the window. It was insanely hard. It was like the craziest thing I've ever done. It's like leak code type stuff. It was crazy. And I looked back at the tech mock interview, and I was like, "Yo, that didn't prepare me for nothing." It's like, what was that supposed to do? It was like some, I don't even remember, some for loop, if statement, whatever. It was basic. And so I was like, so I feel like the tech mock interview should be better, man. Like, I feel like he's the kind of person you could just ask him, give me something more challenging, and he would do it. So, but still, it's like, I don't know, that should be the standard. I don't know, but that could be better. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? It seems like maybe they're improving this, but when I joined, there was like this recruiter guy, like, who answered the phone for on behalf of 4Geeks, and I feel like he was using some like pressure sales tactics, if that's how you say it. So that was like, what the fuck? Like, you kidding me, right? And then I just feel like the payment options wasn't done in good faith in my situation. Like, I think good faith would be, here's all the options you have for payment options. Choose which one is best for you. But I wasn't like told about the income share agreement. And that's kind of whack. I'm like, because I've done mentoring with 4Geeks for like years, a year or two, I mean. But so I know that, no disrespect to anybody, there's been a few students though who said they got the income share agreement, and I was like, what? Like, a lot of times they'll do a test to make sure you show you don't have to have any experience, but I think you go through like the training before you start, and it's pretty, you don't need any experience. Every exercise they show, they give you the material to read and videos, and you do it, and you can use Google, ChatGPT, and so based on how you do on that, you can get the income share agreement, and that's like, it's not that well, that's the thing, it's not that intense to get it, right? And there's a few students who, I don't know, man, they really struggle with even like basic stuff. Like there's certain things, it's learning software development is hard, and it's like a different universe, and there's a lot of things that's just like, you just need to struggle, and that's just what it is. But there's other things that should be intuitive, like you should be able to do X, Y, and Z after you studied for this long, type of thing. And I've worked with students who, in my opinion, were really struggling on certain things that they shouldn't have, like with the place they were in, and they had an income share agreement, and I'm like, hold up, you got an income share agreement and I didn't? It's not a competition, but it's like, it should be like, it was just annoying that I wasn't offered the income share agreement, and I really put work in. Like, I wasn't the smartest person in the room or anything, but I held my own. I put in the work. I showed, and here I am. I got a job. So that's annoying and kind of shady. Like, what was that? So that's, I don't know. That was a few years ago. Maybe that doesn't happen anymore. I don't know. Who knows? But that was weird. I didn't like that. I'm not saying that's going to be your experience, but I don't know. Another thing, man, and this is I'm sure this isn't a 4Geeks thing. This is a coding bootcamp thing. Ain't no way in hell the graduation rate is what it is. Let me look it up right now. What they say on the website. Ain't no way Talking about 80%. That's what I last remember. Let's check this out. Where's the percentage? They don't got it? Good. Good thing y'all didn't put it there, because y'all know y'all be lying. Success stories. Start learning. I'm not seeing it. Maybe they stepped up and changed it. But for a while, they were trying to talk about, it does say it. We have 9+ years experience helping people learn to code. More than 4,000 students graduated, and 84% of our students graduated from our boot camps got hired. 84% of our students graduated from our boot camp got hired. That's a damn lie. I can't prove it. All I know is I did my cohort, right? I was a teaching assistant in another cohort, and I mentored students for, like a year and a half or something like that. And so I think I would have if it was 84%, that means, of my cohort, I forget how many people were in there. If there was 10, I think there was around 10. 8 of them should have got hired. That didn't happen. There was one dude from my cohort got hired. That's all I'm aware of. I was a teaching assistant in one. Out of that one, I think one person got hired shortly after the bootcamp, by the way. Maybe 2 people from that cohort. Of my students I've mentored, there's been which are several. It's been one person off the top of my head that's got hired. From the people who mentored me, there's one dude who got hired. It definitely happens. I'm not saying it's a bust, you won't get hired, but I don't know, man. I think my perception is that, I don't know, some 25%. That might be a little generous. I think it's probably a lot lower. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Ain't no way it's 84%, man. Ain't no way. Because think about all the students I would have came across as a teaching assistant, mentor, in my cohort. 84%, that's high. I should have seen several people. It should have been easy for me to name off people getting hired. Oh, man. No way. So that's a damn lie. And I think that's a coding boot. Because it's me looking for boot camps when I did. If I would have saw, 10% get hired, I would be like, fuck that, right? That's probably most of our situation. So I guess you got to do what you got to do. Lie and say people are getting hired left and right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe they're telling the truth. I doubt it. And I think that's the same case for a lot of coding boot camps. I mean, it's a competitive field, and the amount of things you have to learn to build websites in a professional level is vast. It's a lot of stuff, very competitive, and it just takes a lot. It takes a lot to break through. So I wouldn't say it's at fault of coding boot camps, it's just, it takes time. So I think you should prepare for a year or 2 of developing your skill and getting experience. I think that's realistic if you have no experience. If you happen to be someone who is just wicked brain smart, there's people like that, I feel like I'm average. I'm a smart guy, I suppose, educated, got my bachelor's. I'll hold my own more or less. I would say that's an honest review of myself. And now I'm good at things because I've had 2 years, you know, basically to get trained and practice the skill and all of that, you know. So it takes time. I think most cases it takes time. Um, but yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good overview of 4Geeks. Like I said, you know, it's just a tool. Coding bootcamps is just a tool, one resource out of many that you can use to get a job. So it's definitely happening. It's a good path to go. I'm you know, working remotely. Um, I'm have a starting rate of 25 an hour, which is cool for me to start with. I would have done it for less to break in. They say it's all about getting that first job. Um, so I'm happy, and I'm glad with my decision. And for I wouldn't have got it there without 4Geeks. You know, they're not perfect. Nothing and no one is, and you know, yeah, it's a solid option. So I would say go for it. And yeah, any other questions, y'all can let me know, and I'll probably make some other videos about this topic. And yeah, hope y'all do well, and see y'all next time.